got a plan, no need to fret. Found a way to help that you won't forget. Doctors lost the answers, but she found the key. Empowering ladies, setting us free. Battle in the storm with courage and grace. Shayna's got the wisdom to help you embrace. No more relying on pills they don't know. She's got the strength to help you grow. Feel the power rising inside. Shayna's guidance right by your side. Life's getting brighter step by step. With Shayna's touch, you're gonna prep. Feel the power rising inside. Shayna's guidance right by your side. Life's getting brighter step by step. With Shayna's touch, you're gonna prep. Medicine shelves are emptying out. Finding real strength, that's what it's about. No more prescriptions tying you down. With Shayna's help, you'll wear the crown. Ladies, hear the call, it's time to rise. Shayna lifts the veil, opening eyes. No more shadows breaking your day. With her wisdom, fight pain away. Finding the strength deep inside. Shayna Melissa takes us on this ride, from suffering to a life so free. Her healing touch, she'll set you free with a heart.
Hey, 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 are you constantly exhausted, struggling with that brain fog, forgetting things, gaining weight, and being told your labs are normal? Maybe you're dealing with Hashimoto's, thyroid related issues, autoimmune. If so, this episode is for you. I'm going to break down the critical labs that most doctors and even some fellow nurse practitioners overlook, what's really happening with your hormones, how to uncover the true root cause naturally, because you deserve it. I'm going to help you manage those symptoms because you deserve more energy, more clarity, more focus. Tune in right now. Hi to all those viewers. I am Shayna Melissa Stockman, a fellow autoimmune warrior, a registered nurse, and a nationally board certified nurse practitioner for over 30 years, who empowers mostly ladies who are suffering from autoimmune and medical mysteries to get and feel better while reducing your symptoms, flare ups, and reliance on meds. I like to start off our episodes with some good news. There is so much negative, bad news in the world. Why not some good news? First off, our Shayna Show, thanks to you, has reached 1 year live stream each and every single week for the past 52 plus years. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Woo, 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 woo. We've been doing this show now over 3 years, but this past year, each and every week for 52, we have gone live. Even with my autoimmune symptoms, I have showed up each and every week for you, and so have some of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are live right now, so please click that like, share button with those you know who could benefit from this. Shoot us a question and I'll answer it in real time during the live stream. Also, because I wanted to share with you some of the special guests we've had live on the Shayna Show this past couple of years. Especially, well, actually, we've been live each and every time. Over a year, the show has been around more than 3 years. Here are some of our prior Shayna Show guests from all different countries. We had Hong Kong, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Dublin, America, and more. So thank you, the viewers, for tuning in, liking, subscribing, sharing, interacting, and thank you to each and every one of my special guests. A lot of them are clients of mine in all of these different countries. Now, I just figured I'd give you a blast from the past on Hump Day, Wednesday. Here is a TV episode I did in 2013. So sometimes we don't realize how far we've come when we look day to day, but when we look back, we can realize, wow, I have come a long way. Also, our X account is back up. So it's x.com/biohacknp. Make sure you follow us everywhere. We are now open again. We had an amazing event just a few days ago. I was asked to be the speaker to a beautiful ladies group, and I called the talk Stress Less. Who better to teach about stress less than someone who ran the ER during the pandemic, myself? And then we did some book signings after. Now, I show you this picture because our book, it's a co-author book that I had started and invited 28 friends in. This co-author book, Overcoming Life Obstacles, reached number one internationally, but I share this photo because it just reached 5 years. It was 5 years ago, just a couple of days ago, that it was published. And a recent publisher invited me to co-host an event with her and asked me to share some of the events that I've done with my book. So I've had book signings, I've given copies to fundraisers like breast cancer awareness. I've done wellness summits, retreats, talks where afterwards we have book signings and photo ops. The local libraries have copies, libraries near and far. Actually, there's a lady on the plane that had a copy that was sitting next to me. I thought that was pretty cool. And books can help bridge your business. It's given me great Google reviews. And there is the longtime host, Jen from MTV, talking to me from Vegas about my book launch. So books could bridge the gap between where you are and where you like to be with your business. Now, maybe you'd like to be in the next book of Shayna's Tragedies to Triumphs, right? Woo, 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 woo. You, you will have an opportunity. I will accept applications now, but not everyone's going to be able to get in it. These are some of the co-authors in our book, Overcoming Life Obstacles. We've done book signings together. We've got to meet in person. We've done them out on the water, where the boats are, the sunsets, and so much more. So I want to thank a very sincere thank you to each and every one of my co-authors, because without your story being shared in our book, we could not made it to number one international launch. Woo, 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 woo. I thought it was so. Thank you to all my lovely co-authors from all different states in the US and other countries like Australia and Canada. I have this talk coming up on Friday. Unfortunately, the doors are double locked. If you did not buy a ticket, you cannot any longer. It is mostly for nurse practitioners to gain their continuing education credits, talks, learn the hottest, newest topics that are out there. And I was blessed that the Nurse Practitioner Association asked me to teach them about autoimmune disorders. So thank you very much. I look forward to our live talk in person at the Crest Hollow this Friday with well over 200 attendees. Also, if you are coming to the Crest Hollow on Friday, my talk starts at 8 a.m. Make sure you come early for breakfast. I will have this poster in the hallway there. Now, I did copyright and trademark my poster, the handouts, and the PowerPoints. This poster will be in the lobby where I will debut it. Notice a lot of the things are blocked out right now. This is for the first time ever. I am showing that integrative nurse practitioners like myself who merge multiple different forms of treatments have proven outcomes that are measurable and scientific. So I will show this poster this weekend. I have 10 different areas of my patients' bodies that I measured scientifically before and after treatment. And each one of those 10 regions has multiple measurements within, proving that my integrative interventions are proven effective with measurable outcomes. And so thank you to the MP Association for accepting, because they are very strict with their guidelines and they have to prove things are true before they let you display it and share it with other nurse practitioners. So thank you. I also wanted to share other good news. You know what? I did about well over a dozen projects this past week that I started getting massive, like tendinitis. So I bowled left handed. But yes, I got gutter balls, but I also got a strike. And I want to show you that we have to focus not on our limitations, but on our successes. It will make your life so much happier. You know what? Yes, I bowled left handed for the first time ever. Yes, I got gutter balls. But you know what? I also got a strike. And I really didn't do that much worse left handed than I do right handed. I don't know what that says about my right handed bowling, but I want you guys to focus not on what you don't have, but everything you do have. It'll make you so much more happier. All right, now we're going to dive into today's topic all about Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, weight gain, and more. You guys have these warning signs in your dashboard, right? And when that little warning sign goes off, do you ignore it? You're not supposed to, right? Because that early warning sign is telling you, hello, put in a quart of oil now. And what happens if you ignore that early warning sign? You have a much bigger, more expensive problem, right? Like needing an entire engine. Well, we have warning signs in our body that should not be ignored, especially because we can't get replacement parts as easy for our bodies as we do our car. So if you're not going to ignore those warning signs in your car, please don't ignore them in your body. Here are some of the warning signs oh, in your body, and you need to listen to them and say, okay, this is a warning sign. What should I do? You could be exhausted. If you are waking up exhausted after sleeping 8 or 10 hours, something is going on. These are early warning signs that it could be an underlying autoimmune. And these symptoms specifically are often Hashimoto's. But just be aware, you might have some of these symptoms and not all. It might be Hashimoto's or a different autoimmune disorder. So it's important to go to your licensed healthcare professional or reach out to myself, who is a licensed healthcare professional. So these warning signs could be exhaustion no matter how much you sleep. For Hashimoto's, you could also feel like, hey, my throat's enlarged, my gland, I have a nodule. You could be getting hoarseness, reflux. The first 30 people that jumped on my last workshop, 90% of them complained of low energy. Also with Hashimoto's and common with other autoimmunes is forgetfulness. Are you guys leaving yourself stickies everywhere? You're like, where are my keys? Where's the remote? What did I come in the room for? What was I going to do? Can you remind me? Sound familiar? Often Hashimoto's and or a different autoimmune disorder. Now, I encourage you to write down all the symptoms you have and go to your licensed healthcare pro. Hashimoto's and other autoimmune disorders could cause aches, pain, stiffness, weakness. And this could be out of proportion, like you weren't that physically active today, and yet your joints are hurting, or you're waking up in pain. That is an early warning sign of a much bigger problem going to happen if you don't stop and listen to your body and address it. Oh. Weight gain or stubborn weight is often another sign. I have patients coming into me who are really eating better, eating very clean, trying to stay physically active, can't drop an ounce. In fact, they might even be gaining weight. So if you notice you're trying to eat better and you're just as active, but yet you can't lose a pound or you're even gaining weight, it's often Hashimoto's, thyroiditis, hypothyroidism, or another underlying autoimmune disorder. But the good news is I know I can help you because I had all those problems too. But recently, my body age, as per my body composition scale today, just went down 2 years. So it is important that we can listen to these warning signs and reverse the hands of time. Now, if you're like, wait, I have a lot of those symptoms. My doctor won't listen to me. They tell me my tests are normal. I'm just getting older. That's often not the case. 99% of the people, actually 100% of the people that come to me that had a lot of symptoms, that went to all the doctors, had all the tests, told everything was normal, I discovered things that their doctors missed. So I encourage you to join our upcoming workshop. This month, I am offering it absolutely free because I am gifting it to my fellow nurse practitioners for my talk on Friday. And it was too confusing to do coupon codes and all that. It still wanted your credit card info. So anybody that hears this, they can get this workshop for absolutely no cost this time, not next time. You're simply going to scan that QR code or go to worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. And you don't even need a coupon code. It is just no cost whatsoever. This is my gift to you this month. There is no strings attached, no cost whatsoever. Mark your calendars. It's Wednesday, May 20th at 7 p.m. EST, live online. Only those registered will have access. Now, there is a no cost version and there's a, hey, level up to the VIP. Who doesn't want the VIP treatment? This is going to be live, it's going to be fun, it's going to be interactive. The VIPs will gain the replay access, only the VIPs. They will gain the digital printable workbook, the Zoom access, an extra power hour right after the first free session. That extra hour will be on Zoom. So I get to see you, unmute you, you can ask your questions, and I will give you answers in real time on the Q&A session with the hot seats. And the VIPs are also getting a private one-on-one consultation with me to be done at a different time. Now, this is for the cost of literally a meal out, okay, and a fraction of what I normally charge for a consult. If you really need help, I highly suggest leveling up to the VIP because that's where I'm giving you individualized, personalized attention for your exact signs, symptoms, diagnosis, and your unique situation. So the magic happens in the VIP session where you have extra time, extra gold nuggets. You have the workbook, the printouts, the Q&A session, and a private one-on-one consultation with me where I can look at your unique situation if you give you personalized, individualized attention. So mark your calendar, May 20th, 7 p.m. EST, worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. You can claim your no cost or your VIP seat there. When you register for no cost, if there are VIP seats still available, it will give you the option. But do this now because I don't think I'll ever offer this for no cost again. And I don't know if I can ever offer the VIP with a private consult for less than the cost of a meal out. Okay. Let's go over more signs and symptoms of common Hashimoto's, but might also be a different autoimmune. We went over exhaustion, brain fog, forgetfulness, stubborn weight, even weight gain, dryness. Brittle hair is often a sign of Hashimoto's. And a lot of times these people are looking for treatments to put on their hair. A deep conditioner, a keratin, a lot of those have harsh chemicals and they burn chemicals into your hair. It's more important that in the workshop and my 90-day program, I address things internally that need to be done to make the external look better. So Hashimoto's often has dry, frizzy hair no matter what you do. And it could be brittle hair, brittle nails, brittle bones. And the dryness could not only just be in the hair, it might be in the skin, causing weird rashes. And the dryness could be in the intestines, causing constipation as well, or the dryness could be in the eyes. If you have itchy eyes and you've tried all the over-the-counter allergy drops and they're not working, it's very common that it's an early sign of an autoimmune disorder and could be Hashimoto's as well as a few others like Sjogren's and a couple of the others. So a lot of patients that come to me with dry eyes, they say, hey doc, now I'm not a doctor, I don't claim to be, but they say, hey doc, I like an allergy pill. You know, my allergies are bothering me. I tried some of the meds over the counter and they're just not working. And you know what? Often it's an underlying autoimmune disorder that's not addressed. And they might get some temporary relief from rewetting jobs, but dry eyes is often one of the earliest signs of underlying autoimmune. And I encourage you to go to your licensed healthcare pro or reach out to me or join our workshop. Other symptoms of autoimmune could be swelling of Hashimoto's, could be you feel that swelling in your neck. Maybe it's your lymph node or a goiter or difficulty swallowing. You could feel extremely hot when other people aren't, or extreme cold. It could be either way. You might notice that you're wearing 2 extra layers as opposed to other people, or you're walking around in shorts and people are on 2 layers. You could have discolored fingers like red, blue, or white, or be diagnosed with Raynaud's. You could get palpitations because the Hashimoto's could cause your thyroid to speed up also. And the palpitations could cause anxiety, insomnia, chest pain. And then sometimes you're sad over the whole situation because you have all of these symptoms. Another common sign of autoimmune is irregular periods or infertility issues. A lot of patients that come to me with infertility issues have underlying autoimmune. So I encourage you, if you want to go to the GYN for your irregular menses or the infertility specialist, please reach out to a qualified licensed healthcare pro that can work you up for autoimmune disorders, because the infertility doctor is just going to recommend pretty much those expensive treatments that he marks or she marks up dramatically. I don't want to generalize all, but that's what a lot of them do. I would say 99% of my infertility clients that came to me and went to infertility specialists were never worked up for autoimmune disorders. That is very often an underlying autoimmune. Other symptoms that could be Hashimoto's or other autoimmunes is you are sick more often than the average person. And those symptoms are more severe, and the duration of the illness is lasting longer. And it could be because of the autoimmune disorder itself or the medications you're on that purposely weaken your immune. Now, then, when you have all of these symptoms, you're exhausted, you have weight gain, your hair is thinning, maybe you got weird rashes, you're afraid to go out because you might have to run for the restroom. A lot of times, this causes sadness and isolation, lack of intimacy. You're afraid to go out, you might cancel plans, and you might be afraid to even make plans. And this is often leading to depression. But it's the signs and the symptoms and the frustration and lack of answers that led you to having sadness. I always look for the root cause of your problem. I don't want to just give you a hair treatment for the hair thinning or an energy pill for the low energy. I look to identify and attack the root causes. Here are other clues you might have Hashimoto's or another autoimmune disorder. Any of these tests are a little bit elevated on the blood work, and your doctor just totally ignores it because it's just a little bit off. Maybe your thyroid function's a little bit off. Your cholesterol's a little high. Your weight's a little high. Your sugars are a little high. You're pre-diabetic. Your blood pressure's a little high. Your kidney function's a little high. Your liver enzymes are a little high. Your body temperature's a little high. Fevers of unknown origin could very likely be underlying autoimmune disorders like Hashimoto's or lupus. You might be told you have some autoimmune antibodies in your blood work, or you have signs of inflammation in your blood work. All of these could be an indicator of an underlying autoimmune like Hashimoto's or a different one. You don't have to have all of these abnormal to indicate an underlying autoimmune. You just might have one or two or a lot of them. Oh. Now, here's some clues. Now, you can just focus in on me because I'm going to talk a little bit about clues that might be autoimmune. If you can't figure out what brought on the flare up or what made it go away, and it's a medical mystery, it's often autoimmune. You're having a rash, but you didn't eat anything differently, you didn't change soaps, deodorant, shampoos, it's often autoimmune. You can't think of what brought it on, what made it better, what made it worse, what triggered it. Everything else was ruled out by your doctor. They like, hey, I know everything it's not, so don't worry about it. Everything I checked you for is normal. Your signs and symptoms might be out of proportion. You slept 10 hours and you're still exhausted. You're waking up in pain. You weren't that physically active, but all your joints hurt. Or you could have general or vague symptoms like, I just don't feel like I did last year. Something's off. Or you could have multiple different body parts involved. You might have a rash on your face, like a lupus rash, and joint pain and kidney function a little off. Or another clue it's often autoimmune is the doctor says, listen, I don't know what it is, but this prednisone is going to help you reduce the inflammation. And you go to the doctor and you get the shot or the pills of the prednisone and it goes away. And then a few months later, you get it back again. You're like, hey, doc, give me that shot. Give me those prednisone pills, the steroids again. And it goes away again. And then it comes back. And then over time, you're like, hey, can we just stay on that? Because I don't want to get another flare up. Or your doctor encourages you to stay on a low dose prednisone all the time. Or another clue it might be autoimmune is if you didn't get diagnosed till an adult. Like, say, you're in your 40s and you just got diagnosed with asthma for the first time, but you've been going to the doctors regularly. Often, an adult onset of a problem tends to be an underlying autoimmune issues. Or if your tests are a little abnormal and the doctor says, oh, don't worry about it, it's just a little bit off. Any of those tests that we discussed that are a little bit abnormal could be autoimmune, could be your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your kidney, your liver, your thyroid, your autoimmune antibodies, or your inflammatory markers. Now then you go to the doctor, right? You love this. You had these symptoms for a long time and you want answers. And you're sitting and you're waiting in that waiting room for like 3 hours. And you know there's a waiting room full of people and you are going to be rushed in and out in 5 minutes and you're not going to get all the answers you need. It's very frustrating. I can relate because I had autoimmune too, and I was a lot like you. I want you to know that during a deep dive consultation, when I do a private deep dive consultation with my clients, our initial consult is a good hour after I looked at all of their test results, all of their signs, their symptoms, their family history, their normal and abnormal blood tests and imaging. Our initial consult is then over an hour. So you might go to the doctor and you're sitting there for 3 hours and you're rushed in and out in 5 minutes, and you're lucky if you get to ask one or two questions, and you're pretty much no answers, and let's do some more blood work and let's repeat that blood test again. And don't worry, you're just getting older. You're doing too much. Have you heard that? Can you relate? But yet you want this. You want that younger self back where you had those intimate moments. You were energetic. You were playing with the babies, the grandbabies, the beach, the hiking, the biking. Now, for the viewers out there, I want you to know, I want to ask you a question. If symptoms and flare ups were not holding you back, what would you like to do more of? Right? Let's just dream for a minute. Would you like more intimate moments, more hiking, biking, time with the babies, the grandbabies out at the beach? Please drop down below, because you know what? I've seen 90-year-olds dancing at 8 o'clock at night, and I have to realize it's more than just me getting older, the lack of energy. So you have to realize that. I want you to focus in on what you'd like more of. Is it going to the ball games, the beach, the babies, the grandbabies, hiking, biking? Maybe if you didn't have the rashes and the extra weight, more intimate moments. And just think about that for a moment. You can share or not, that's okay. Then, while you're in the waiting room and you're dreaming about your much younger self and how it can happen, the doctor, you go inside, right? And the doctor says, "Well, your tests are fine. We don't know what it is. You're just getting older. You're doing too much." The problem is this: a lot of times the tests are fine because they didn't order the correct test. I would say the high majority of patients that come to me, their doctors missed the correct testing at the correct time, or the tests were a little abnormal, so they were ignored. Your kidney's a little abnormal, your sugars are a little abnormal, and the doctor wasn't a good diagnostician to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Or they were misinterpreted as normal for your age and your condition. Or the doctor did not optimize the results. Like, say there's a blood test where the normal range might be 300 to 1100, and their doctor sees you at 300 and says, "Oh, you're normal." No, but you know what? If you're my patient and you're exhausted and having numbness from anemia and memory issues, I don't want that B12 level at 300. I want you near 1100. So sometimes your tests are normal, but they're not at optimal capacity where they should be. Then the doctors are telling you, because the tests are normal, you must be just getting older and doing too much. No, they're often misdiagnosing. I don't want to bash doctors because there are some good ones, but a lot of times they are rushed in and out. They say more, 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 and they're only allowed, 5 minutes and your time is up. So normal tests do not mean there's nothing wrong. It means it might not be the right test at the right time with a good diagnostician, and the level might not be optimized. And it might not be just you getting older. If you see a 90-year-old dancing at 8 p.m. at night, you can't imagine your lack of energy is just getting older when you're like 42, right? Here is what the average doctor orders for your Hashimoto's if he suspects thyroid. This one test called a TSH test. Do you know how many people come to me with underlying Hashimoto's and autoimmune who have been to all the doctors, been to all the specialists, had the full blood work, and still told they're normal? And then they come to me and I discover that there is abnormalities in their labs. Now, the doctor typically orders that one TSH blood test. I don't. I order an entire array of thyroid tests, all these thyroid antibodies, all these autoimmune antibodies. I look at what you're deficit in as far as vitamins and minerals, and I check numerous different blood tests for inflammation, both acute, short term, and chronic, long term. And I want you to know now, no matter what state you're in, I have the capabilities to order blood work on you, blood work, urine, whatever it may be, stool cultures, and more, because I have a network of doctors and nurse practitioners literally in every state. If you'd like me to order your blood work, it's important for you to know I can't just do it in a text, okay? It's not going to happen. I need to know a full consultation with you. What are your signs? What are your symptoms? What's in your family history? What were you diagnosed with? What tests were normal and what tests were abnormal? And I have to create a patient chart on you. So I cannot do this in a text. Don't reach out to me and say, hey, order me my labs, you know? And I have the capabilities to work with certain labs outside insurance that will give you the same testing for a fraction. You know, just recently I chose to order blood work outside of my insurance. Now, with my insurance, it would have cost me over $1,000 if that testing got denied. But I went outside of my insurance as a cash payer and paid maybe $300 total for $1,000 of blood work. So sometimes it's more important to go outside of your insurance to get it done at a fraction of the price. And recently I had a client that through the lab and the insurance, the blood test was $152. But if he choose not to use your insurance and go with a lab I'm collaborating with, the same test would have been $11. Now, other practitioners might mark up blood testing, especially coaches and things like that. I do not do that. I pass on the savings to you and you get those tests for my cost. But you got to do a consultation and you can schedule that at worldwellnessexpert.com. Now, moving right along, we were saying about that 90-year-old, right? You're out at like 8 o'clock at night. You see that 90-year-old dancing. So that's what made me realize when the doctors are telling me, oh, you're just getting older. I'm like, no way. Don't you see this 90-year-old dancing at 8 o'clock at night? I had to understand that there was something else going on. Always listen to your intuition. Now, you might have been to the doctors, and like I said, I'm not bashing them all because there's some good ones, just generalizing. And they say, here, try this. Here, try that. Are you a guinea pig? Try means they don't know if it's going to work for you. I don't have to try this, try that. I've been a nationally board certified nurse practitioner and a registered nurse for well over 30 years. I suffered my own autoimmune. I have 5 college degrees, 4 nursing healthcare licenses. I've tried this, tried that with myself and my patients for decades. So there is no guesswork. You know what? You have to think twice. If that doctor says to you, here, try this, here, we're going to try that. You are not a guinea pig. You deserve proven treatments with measurable outcomes like I offer. And you must keep in mind that medications are a leading cause of death in this country. The deaths from drugs have surpassed the deaths from motor vehicle accidents and gunshots put together. So I'm not opposed to prescriptions and I can write them, but I choose not to resort to them first line. I always look to attack the root cause. The meds usually never attack the underlying root cause, so the problem gets worse. That's why you need a second pill for your blood pressure, a third pill for your diabetes. It's not controlling the problem. Now, recently I was in an auditorium speaking, and the auditorium held 200. And I said to everyone out there, I said, raise your hand high if you or anybody you ever heard of was cured of their chronic illness with a medication. And I looked around and not one hand went up. And I repeated it. Please raise your hand up high if you or anyone you ever heard of was cured of their chronic illness with a medication. And again, not one hand went up. So we know it does not cure. It might help the symptoms a little bit temporarily, but it's also like putting that bucket under a roof leak. It's good for now, a quick fix, but not solving the problem. Now, I show you this image because my grandpa was a licensed pharmacist who died of a lethal prescription drug interaction, taking it as prescribed. And a lot of clients come to me with a problem and where their doctors just gave them another med for that symptom. But I realized it was their other medication causing a side effect and needing more meds. So please, if you have a new symptom and you're on medication, ask your licensed healthcare pro or myself, could this be a side effect of the medicines I'm already on? Because why add another medicine to treat a side effect when they should fix the first one? Now, you might be like me. I was told I'll have to live with it. I was in heart failure and my heart on the meds by not only the heart doctor, but the heart subspecialist. I was still getting worse. So we know it didn't stop the progression. We know it didn't reverse it. We know it didn't control my symptoms. And I was told I had to live with it. And that cardiologist at the time told me about 98% of his patients, he never finds the root cause. That means he can't stop it, he can't slow it down, and he sure as hell can't reverse it. That's what I do differently. I identify and attack the underlying root cause of the issue. Because I didn't want to live with heart failure and I didn't want to continue to get worse. Now, I want you to know your past does not dictate your future. I'm a fellow autoimmune warrior. For those of you that don't know my story, I had a lot of those symptoms and more. I was also diagnosed with MS and full blown heart failure. I did not accept I'm getting older. That's all they can do. I'll have to deal with it. No, I knew there had to be a better way, and I cracked the code. I did years of research, talking with world renowned doctors, scientists, tried this, tried that, and now I know what works. And I want you to know your past does not dictate your future, despite what those doctors told you. Because look, they told me that was my future too. I chose to believe differently, look for the root cause, take consistent action, never ever quit. Now, I had to, one, prioritize my life and my health over my job and over my business. I had to learn to start saying no. And I want you to know your past doesn't dictate your future. I wrote about it in that book, Overcoming Life Obstacles, right there. Reached #1 international bestseller. And at my live talk on Tuesday, somebody asked me in what category. So there's some of the categories it reached #1 international bestseller in: alternative, holistic medicine, personal health, diseases, disorders, naturopathic medicine, naturopathic medical books, and medical books. So you can get some of those gold nuggets at, you can get that book at worldwellnessexpert.com/OLO for the acronym of the book, Overcoming Life Obstacles. And now I've replicated what helped me, my proven measured outcomes with literally thousands of people from around the world, and proved their outcomes with pre-test and post-test. Their numbers have improved as well as their signs and symptoms. Now we have to prioritize, you have to prioritize yourself over your job, over your business. You have to realize that you're worthy, you are deserving to treat yourself as good as you treat your patients, your kids, your parents, your significant other. You have to realize it is possible. Now, I start off my workshop and my 90-day program with mastering your mindset and by retraining your brain, because that lays the foundation. If you believe you can't do something, you can't. If you believe you can do something, you can. You must put on your oxygen mask on first. It's not selfish, but selfless. Now, I suffered all these autoimmune. I helped heal myself holistically. Some of my doctors became my clients. Some of them sent me their family members, their patients. I now teach my fellow healthcare pros all about my unique trailblazing techniques, how I merge traditional medicine and integrate it in with naturopathic, functional, holistic, genetic, cellular level, root cause medicine. And here is what one of my former doctors that I used to meet said: increased stamina, energy, better quality of life, frequency of illnesses drop. Now, here's one of my Hashimoto's warriors. You know, she was taking the meds and still gaining weight and still exhausted. And I did things differently. She had all those symptoms. Now she has great energy, finally starting to lose weight. Her brain fog cleared up. Now that I was able to taper off 4 of her medicines, 4 prescription pills less a day. That's over 1,000 less pills per year, less carcinogens, fillers, dyes, things going through her kidneys, her liver, less chances, 1,000 less interactions, chances of interactions a year, less chances of dependencies, overdoses, and deaths. And now that I was safely able to taper her off 4 of those medicines, she started to drop more weight. She became clearer and everything. And she said she feels more alive. Now, how I started doing that with her is I don't do traditional. I do things totally different, but I get results that are not traditional. For her, she had no stamina. So I started her off with a 4-minute happy dance a day. Pick a happy song and just dance for 4 minutes. She couldn't do more than 30 seconds, but over time and redoing this every single week, every single day, she built up a stamina. Before you knew it, she was doing a whole 4-minute song, dancing to it. And now she's up to on the rebounder 30 minutes at a time on one of those little trampolines. So these tiny habits could be good and add up. Do you know if you do a 4-minute happy dance a day, that equates to 24 hours of extra exercise at the end of the year that you went ahead. So in your busy lifestyle, there's 1,440 minutes in a day. You are worthy. You are deserving to take at least four and just dance to de-stress, thicken the bones, burn a couple of calories. All right. Now, I do have proven measurable outcomes. Before I created this entire system that is copyrighted and trademarked, there was nothing really that proved alternatives worked other than patients pretty much saying they felt better. I have proven outcomes that are measurable and objective, more than just what the patient says. I measure their pre and post treatment in 10 different regions, and each of these regions has multiple measurements within. And they could include inflammatory markers, cholesterol levels, diabetes, sugars, kidney functions, liver functions, clotting factors, and more. And I will disclose that Friday for those of you live at the Crest Hollow in Woodbury, Westbury. Here's another autoimmune warrior client of mine. Before me, she was going to the chiropractor. Nothing against chiropractors, but they were adjusting the spine. So they were adjusting her spine 3 times a week. She was on anti-inflammatories every single day for pain, and it was not enough. She also had to resort to pain pills just to function and work. But they were not addressing her underlying autoimmune issue. Once I addressed that, she no longer needed the pain pills, didn't need the anti-inflammatory, and was able to do things that brought her great joy again, like skydiving and horseback riding for the first time in over 20 years. Now, I want you to know, what if symptoms weren't holding you back in autoimmune flare ups? What would you like more of? Would it be more intimate moments? Would it be back to playing softball, chasing around the babies, the grandbabies, going out to the beach, hiking, biking, whatever it may be? Think about what you would like more of, and then I'm going to help you get there. Dun, dun, dun. You can drop it down below if you like or not, but I want to help you get back to where you were, to reclaim your life. And how are we going to do that? You can simply register for this workshop. This time, there is absolutely no cost, no coupon code needed. Mark your calendar for Wednesday, May 20th at 7 p.m. EST sharp, live online from the comfort of your couch. It is not a 5-day, it's not a 3-day, it's 1 day and 1 power hour, not even a full day. Out of hundreds in the month of May, you are worthy. You deserve at least this 1 hour to reclaim your life. I don't think I'll ever offer this again at no cost. There are currently no cost and VIP seats, but I am limiting the number. So please claim your seat now. Just scan that QR or go to worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. Register. If there are VIP seats, when you register, it will give you the option to level up to a VIP seat. Mark your calendar. It is May 20th, 7 p.m. EST. There is no replay unless you level up to the VIP. The VIP, how would you like the VIP treatment? The VIPs will gain the replay access. They will gain the Zoom access where I can see them, hear them. After the power hour, they will gain an extra power hour live Zoom access for a much deeper dive, a lot of gold nuggets. They will gain the digital and printable workbook with all of the notes, the worksheets, the replay access, and most importantly, that second hour will not only give them more gold nuggets, but individualized, personalized attention where you get to ask me questions live on the Zoom, and I will give you immediate feedback based on your personal, unique situation. And the VIPs will also get a private one-on-one consultation with me to be done at another time, all for the price of a meal out, right? I don't think I can ever offer the free session again, and I don't think I can ever offer this much in the VIP, include a private consult for this little again. So please claim your no cost or VIP seat while you can. And I hope to see you there because, everyone, all of my clients that made the most progress leveled up to the VIP because you know what? General information is good, but it's not personalized and individualized to you. And that's where the magic happens. That's where I see your weaknesses, your signs, your symptoms, what tests were done, what tests weren't, and I can give you that personalized, individualized attention that the general session does not. So I thank you, each and every one of you. I see all those eyeballs for tuning in, staying through to the end. Next week on the Shayna Show, we're going to do part two, a deeper dive. But I want to encourage each and every one of you. If you or someone you know is suffering from Hashimoto's, any of those signs and symptoms, exhaustion, pain, brain fog, fatigue, rare rashes, IBS, autoimmune disorders, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, I encourage you guys to share this with those people, have them register with you. It's more fun when you gamify it and do it with others. And the VIPs, when you're on the live Zoom and you stick through to the end, we're gonna raffle off some cool prizes, woo, 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 limited merch and gift certificates to places by you, nice restaurants and more. So that's all I want to say is worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. Claim your no cost or VIP seat now. Mark your calendar for May 20th, 7 p.m. And I look forward to seeing you there. It's
The strength
action
deep
steps.
inside. Shayna
You
knows
gotta
just
take
how
action. A
it
dream
feels
is
to
just a
rise
dream
from
until
suffering
you take
to
action.